classmates if they struggle as well. I'm going to record this. So we're doing 324 for CC2, so math 7, right? So like what we did in class today, 73 wants us to split up these numbers. So I already split 5 and 600ths, and now I'm going to split 2 and 300ths. And actually, guys, the decimal point is the and that kind of represents that it's a split, like 2 whole numbers and 3/10 of a number, like partial numbers. So now inside this rectangle, I'm going to find the areas of the shapes, but all I'm doing is multiplying broken up. So 5 times 2, 10. 2 times 0.06, 0.12. 5 times 0.3 to fill in this bottom, 1.5. And this is where it's tricky. 6/100ths times 3/10. So I'm going to write that out. 3/10 times 6/100ths equals 18 thousandths. Right, so you multiply on top, multiply on bottom. So that's actually going to be 0.018. Exactly like we did in class, we have to add this 0 so it ends in the thousandths place. Does that make sense? We have, because it's 18 over 1,000, we have to end in the thousandths place of decimals. Questions on that? Now we put all these together to find our total. So 10 plus 1.5 plus 0.12 plus 0.018. Make sure you line up all your decimals. $11.638, I believe. Now, if we want to do it as a fraction multiplication problem, like it says, I'm just reviewing this other technique. So I'm going to do B as a fraction multiplication problem. I know A asked for fraction multiplication, but this is fine. If you did this technique for A, like I just did for you guys, because I wanted to review that from class. So fraction multiplication here, 4, what place is this in? This would be 4, well, we go tenths, hundredths, thousandths. So it's 4 thousandths times 3 and 42 hundredths, right? That ends in the hundredth spot. So now we know to multiply with fractions, we want both of them to be fractions, so make your 3 and 42 hundredths improper. Remember how to make this improper? We do 3 times 100, add it to 42. So I'm going to drop this down, nothing changes with this guy. So it's 342 over 100. Questions on how I've done what we did so far? And guys, the recording can't hear you. So if you're being quiet because the recording, it can only really pick me up. Anything else is too far away, too soft.
Didn't you say that, like, if we're being, like, bad in class, we would show our parents?
Yeah, but that's like, I don't want to name names, but kids like that are normally loud. And I have stopped talking to, like, make it obvious that they are messing the class up. Yeah, you know what I mean? So normally it's like they're blurting things out, or they walk into class late and they're like, hey guys, what's going on? And like, we're already teaching. Like, that's a problem. And some students do that. So now we multiply straight across the top, straight across the bottom. And we said when multiplying with powers of 10, right? 10, 100, 1000, any of those, you just count zeros. I got 5 zeros here. My answer is going to have 5 zeros. 342 times 4. Man, I don't know that. I can probably try to figure it out. Oh, we can show how to do this. Do 4 times 300. That gets me 1200. Do 4 times 40. That gets me 160. 4 times 2 is 8. Excuse me, so that'd be 1368. But that denominator means I have to have my number in the 100,000ths decimal place. The 100,000ths decimal place. What? Let's find it. 0 point. What's the first decimal place? Tenths. Then hundredths. Then thousandths. And guys, reference the poster if you need. Then 10,000ths. Then 100,000ths. So guys, that's why I made this note over here. 5 decimal places. We go 5 decimal places. Tenths, hundredths, thousandths, 10,000ths, 100,000ths. Olive, you can't just stare at the wall and then copy what I do. You got to engage with me. You were looking at the what? Okay, well, looks like you're just staring up there, but does this make sense how this 5th spot is the 100,000ths? See, that's what I'm asking, and you're staring at the wall. So, we start every decimal, look over at that board for a second. Every decimal space divides by 10 again. That's what deci means. So the first space is division by 10 once, making it the tenths space. The next space divides by 10 again, making that the hundredths. So my first space, 1/10. My next space is the hundredth space, or however many hundredths you have. It doesn't matter what's on top. My next one, we keep adding zeros to the denominator. So to get to 100,000, and actually guys, the number of zeros also tells you how many decimal places we use. So the fact that 100,000 has 5 zeros, every zero in the denominator is a decimal place. So 5 zeros in the denominator uses 5 decimal places, but our number is only 4 digits. So what do we need to do since our number is only 4 digits? Well, I start at the spot I want to end in. 8, 6, 3, 1. What do I put here then? 0. Sorry, this was just my work multiplying. That is how we end up in the 100,000ths. Let's try to move on to the back to do at least one more. And remember, this is recorded, so if you want to see it again later, you can see it again later. So, in 74, it says mentally. It's even got a picture of don't use a calculator. If this, I know we're mentally, but like this is the thought you should have in your head. If this is 4 hundredths, and this is 1/10, and I know they're both negative, what's the denominator going to become when we do 100 times 10? 1,000, absolutely. So that decimal, tenths, hundredths, thousandths, right? This one is divide by 10, divide by 100, divide by 1,000. So we then have to think about what's a negative times a negative? A positive. And what's 4 times 1? Just 4. But the tricky thing is the 4 goes at the end because it's 4 thousandths. So we got to fill in some extra zeros. So we get 0.004. The other kind of trick that we can do that we talked about in class is look at the multiplication. 1 decimal spot, 2 decimal spots, 3 decimal spots. That's another trick that we can use for determining how many our answer should use. How we doing, Mr. Hall?
Awesome.
How many total decimal spots in part B? How many total decimal spots in part B? Now you guys are all nervous because Mr. Hall walked in here. I don't know. 2 spots in 0.3, or 300ths, right? 0.03, 2 spots there. How many decimal spots over here? Yeah, you do count them. Look at your paper. I'm not going to accept you saying I don't know. How many spots are... There are 2 more spots here. Yeah, so we're trying to be able to do this mentally. So I agree. If we thought about fractions, so here, I'll write that down for a second. If we thought about fractions, it'd be 300ths and -2 hundredths. But the other trick we said we can do is count decimal spots. So there are 2 decimal spots there, 2 decimal spots there. How many in total? 4. So our answer, we're saying, if that trick works, is going to have 4 decimal spaces. If we think through the fraction multiplication, which you're allowed to do this mentally. I said up here you're allowed to do this mentally, but if you want to write it down, that's absolutely fine. Yeah, 100 times 100 equals 10,000. So even though I only have 1 number on top, it's got to go in the 10,000ths spot. Tenths, hundredths, thousandths, 10,000ths. So I make the whole number negative. Go ahead and do C on your own. You looking to talk about foundations? Did you get 7, 14, 21, 28 hundredths for C? Or did you move on to 75? Ooh, too many decimal places. So when we think this through, there's 1 decimal space here, 1 decimal space here. There's only 2 in total. So our answer is going to have 2 in total. If we think about the fractions, 7 tenths times 4 tenths will be 28 hundredths. Yeah, so we should have 100 on bottom. Yeah. Sweet. So it should be 0.28 when we go to decimal. 75 is asking us to figure out the distance between these points. Because it asks how far above the bottom of Death Valley is Denali Mountain. Or the summit of Denali. So, if this is above sea level, would that be a positive or a negative? Above sea level. Positive, right? So let's go ahead and write down 20,335. It's a positive. To 282 feet below sea level. Would that be a positive or a negative? Below is negative, right? So I'm going to put that in parentheses and make it negative. If we're trying to find distance between them, and guys, I want to draw a picture to make this make sense. So I think my mountain came out looking very much like the mountain that the Grinch lives on. That little peak overhang. But what they're saying is if sea level is 0, and guys, New Orleans is actually below sea level. That's why it floods so bad. This, it's because it's inland. So it's not right at the beach. So there's land between the ocean and the... Same thing with Death Valley. Death Valley's below sea level because there's land between where the ocean is and where this is. But this distance above sea level is 20,335. And this distance is another 282. We're actually going to end up adding these numbers because distance between, we would put a minus here, and we would have minus a negative. You're all right. And we'd have 20,335 plus 282. And that is, we're going to have to stop this recording unless I pick it back up because I think I don't have AO today.
Today we have gym.
Yeah, so I don't know why you sat down.
Oh, yeah. Oh, we have gym.
Yeah, I don't know why you sat down.
I forgot.
All right, I got a couple minutes here, so we'll try to finish up this homework. We're asked to find the mean, range, and median. So again, reviewing these vocab words. Mean means the average of all the numbers. We're going to add them up and divide by how many we have. Range is from the smallest to the biggest. And median is, of course, in the middle when we have put the values in order. So the first thing that we need to do if we need the median when the values are in order is put these things in order. My lowest numbers look to be these -2s, which I have 2 of. And then I lightly mark them out because I used them. 0 seems to be the next number. Mark it out. You should be working in pencil in case you miss any numbers. So, sorry, 0 is gone, but then 1 is next. So I actually marked out the 1 already. Check for any other ones. There are not. I got a 2. 4. 7. 8. 9. And I believe just 12 is left. So our median, a lot of us keep having issues on this. I want to count how many numbers we're working with to figure out how easy or difficult, the median is going to be. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. An even set of numbers is going to make finding your median slightly tricky because when I look for the middle, I can put 5 numbers on the left side and 5 numbers on the right side, meaning there's actually no number in the direct middle. So we have to figure out what number would be in the direct middle by finding the average of these. Or if you can just kind of look at it and say, oh, I know 3 is in between 2 and 4. 3 is our median, but if you struggle to find that, the way that we can do that is 2 plus 4 divided by 2. So we actually average to find the median. I know it's kind of weird. We average to find the median when there is no number right in the middle. And we found out that that median is 3. The final, we need mean and range. So mean, we're going to add them all up and divide by how many we have. Thank you, Gust. So, -2. Remember, negative is not the minus on your calculator. They're 2 different things. -2 plus -2 plus 0 plus 1 plus 2 plus 4 plus 7 plus 8 plus 9 plus 12. Make sure we got all our numbers. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. We got them all. So we find that total. We divide by 10, and our mean is 3.9. And the range is our max number minus our bottom number, which when we do minus a negative, and we said in case we do these in the wrong order, we can put absolute value bars to fix it. If anything turns negative, it'll turn it back positive. But this actually just comes out to be 14. In 77, to multiply fractions, we know we multiply straight across the top and straight across the bottom. So as I advised in class, we can draw the arrows to help us remember that. 10 over 24, and 3 times 2 is 6, 4 times 5 is 20. Now, of course, both of these fractions are using even numbers, so since we've been asked to simplify, we should probably reduce. So if I cut in half and cut in half, right, divide by 2, divide by 2. And here we can do the same thing and get 3 over 10. Sweet, that is everything from your 324 homework. If you need any more help, please come see me at AO or Extensions. But yeah, we should have everything from class done with our hundredths grid. In 73A, if you did it with the fraction style, totally fine. I just wanted to do a review of our area model style of solving this. So fraction style would also be totally fine. This would have actually turned into 23 tenths and 506 over 100. So actually, I guess I'll do that really quickly. A little bonus problem here for you. So if I do that in the fraction form, I just like doing math so much. 2 and 3 tenths times 5 and 6 hundredths. Go improper. 23 tenths times 506 hundredths. You multiply straight across the top, straight across the bottom, making this come out to be 10 over 1,000. And wow, 506 times 23. I don't know what that is. I'm going to go ahead and use the calculator. 11638. So we know that with decimals, tenths, hundredths, thousandths, we can actually only fit 3 digits in before we hit the thousandths place. So guys, this has to be 8, this has to be 3, this has to be 6, meaning this is not 0. We actually have 11 as our whole number. So 11 and 638 thousandths, or 11,638 over 1,000. All right, that is everything from 324 now. Have a great day.